Hi students, this recording is to help you along with your assignment that is due on the 28th of May, which is a Friday. This assignment can be done in groups of 4 or 5, or it can be done individually. So this particular assignment counts 30% towards your final mark for the module, and the minimum pass mark for this assessment is 50%. Some guidelines to follow when you are submitting your assignment. If you are completing this assignment individually, please make sure that your full name, surname, your student number, as well as the module code appears on the front page, as well as the campus that you are from. If you are completing this assignment in a group, then just ensure that all group members' names, full names, surnames, student numbers, as well as the module code also appears on the front page in addition to the name of your campus. Ensure that the file that you are submitting is under 20 megabytes as you will be uploading this on ECI. As you are completing your assignment and you're typing up in Microsoft Word, please ensure that you do check for grammar and typing errors. If you feel you'd like to download some software to help you with that, there are many programs that are available. Grammarly is quite a good one that could help you with academic writing. There is a free version that you can download and make use of for all your academic assignments. The next point here, please use size 12 font. Ensure that your writing is in black as well. The Arial font is what is allowed with 1.5 spacing, as well as your margins being 2 centimeters. Ensure that you are following the correct referencing guide. Please use the Harvard system, and you can find a copy of that on your ECI page. Thereafter, you need to ensure that while you are completing this assignment, that you do make use of credible sources or credible references in your work. And credible references are referring to books, peer-reviewed journal articles, newspaper articles, or articles from magazines where they have been written by academic scholars or individuals who are accredited. So sites like Wikipedia, for example, and blog sites should not be used in academic writing. And the last point here, to please include a Turnitin report. This slide here just gives you the details of how to generate your Turnitin report. This information is also found in your assessment guide, which you can go through in detail. Your assignment instructions. So you and your group, if you are working as a group, are required to design a lesson with a duration of 60 minutes integrating natural sciences and technology. You need to include a practical component in your lesson, and this could include an experiment or an investigation or the designing and making of a model. So there you are linking in with the technology aspect. You must choose one of the following topics from the intermediate phase from the options given below. So you have 4 options as you can see here. The first option is grade 4, term 1, life and living, what plants need to grow, and you have your CAPS reference page number provided as well. Option 2 is grade 4, term 2, matter and materials, change of state of matter, and that's found on page 20 of your CAPS document. Option 3, grade 4, term 3, energy and change. Here we're looking at movement and energy in a system. Your CAPS page number is 24. And option 4 is grade 4, term 4, planet Earth and beyond, modeling a rocket. And your CAPS reference here is page 29. From the 4 options that you have here, you and your group must select only one of these topics and design your lesson according to that particular knowledge strand that you have selected, as well as the topic that has been provided for you. So for example, if you choose option 1, grade 4, term 1, the knowledge strand is life and living, the topic is what plants need to grow, you cannot change this. You have to stick with the options that are given to you. So please ensure that you are choosing one of the topics from the options that are provided for you. Your assignment, the rationale and lesson plan, you are to provide a 1-page rationale for your topic. In this rationale, you need to discuss how you are going to integrate NST into your lesson and the relevance this has for intermediate phase learners. Your rationale has to be linked to the available literature or the research that you have then selected. Evidence of wide reading on the topic and research pertaining to the activities that you designed must be produced. A minimum of 3 credible resources are required. So you could make use of journal articles, magazines, any interesting articles from magazines, newspaper articles, as well as books or edited books. These are the only sources that can be used. The lesson must follow the recognized lesson plan format presented in teaching practice. So that's the lesson plans that you're currently using. The lesson should include practical activities for the learners which can be explained in a demonstration by the teacher. Your lesson plan must also include an assessment part of your lesson. You also need to show how you have linked scientific and technological processing skills in the various activities that you have planned throughout your lesson plan. And these scientific and technological processing skills can be found in your CAPS document as well. You also need to provide a reflection on the assignment in terms of after having researched the topic, you have then planned and prepared the lesson. What would be some of the issues that you could anticipate when delivering the lesson to your learners? So after you finish this assignment, you can just think about if you had to take this assignment, this lesson plan that you have now done, and you have to teach it in one of your teaching practice lessons, what would be some of the issues or challenges that you would anticipate? As a result, what would be some of your ways in which you could address the challenges that you have then presented? So you also need to highlight briefly how you would address these anticipated issues. So if you've listed 5 challenges, for example, in delivering the lessons, please provide 5 ways in which you would address each of those challenges. So if you have 5 challenges like I've mentioned, please give us 5 ways in which you would address those challenges. The assignment rubric will be used to assess the rationale and the lesson plan, and your assignment must be submitted through Turnitin on ECI. The total for this assignment, the rationale and the lesson plan, is 100 marks. So your assessment rubric, this is what we're going to be using to assess the lesson plan that you then provide us with as part of your assignment. So we're looking at the criteria starting here, not achieved, which is between 0 and 3. We've got partially achieved, which is 4 to 5 marks, achieved, which is 6 and 7 marks, and excellent achievement, which is between 8 to 10 marks. The criteria that we're then following, we're looking at the rationale, we're looking at your lesson outcomes, assessment strategies, and then the lesson introduction. While you are developing your assignment, please make sure that you're working with this rubric, because this is going to guide you for how we are going to then mark your assignment. So if we look at the rationale, 6 to 7 marks for achieved. Here we've just got the rationale relevantly discusses integration of NST. Relevance has not been established for IP learners. 8 to 10, the rationale is explicit and shows excellent integration of NST. Relevance has been established and further motivates learning. This lesson is suitable for intermediate phase learners. So while you're developing your assignment, make sure you come to your rubric after you read through paragraphs that you've then written to see where can you actually slot your work on this rubric, and that will give you a guideline for how you should actually be writing. Lesson outcomes, which is 10 marks as well. If we look at the achieved column, you've got your outcomes articulated clearly, reflects high standard of insight and understanding of the curriculum. But if we look at 8 to 10, your outcomes are clear, they're focused, and achievable outcomes have been listed, exceptional insight and understanding, and a clear link between theory and practice. Your lesson outcomes, you also need to consider measurable verbs that you're going to use. So words like examine, list, explain, discuss, demonstrate. So have a look in your CAPS document to see what are other measurable verbs that you could use. Please stay away from using words such as learners will be able to understand, learners will know, because we can't really measure how much a learner knows or how a learner can understand. We need to use measurable verbs where we can actually see the learner is doing something or has achieved your lesson outcomes that you have set out at the start of the lesson. Assessment strategies, if we look at your achieved block, There's meaningful application of assessment methods. Assessment strategies links adequately to content area and outcomes. For excellent achievement, the assessment strategies show innovation and creativity. Assessment strategies links clearly to the content area and the outcomes. Your lesson introduction. Please try to come up with something creative and exciting where you could actually grasp the attention of your learners right at the start of your lesson. If we look at our achieve block, you've got your good introduction that contributes to learner interest and involvement. For 8 to 10 marks, an innovative introduction to the lesson which captures the learner's attention and creates a learning atmosphere. Please try to stay away from when you're doing your lesson introduction where you say learners will take out their textbooks and turn to page 28. The topic we're going to be discussing will be so and so and so. Please try to think of creative, interesting, and exciting lesson introductions. Moving on here, we're still looking at the same criteria in terms of your mark allocation, but now we move on to lesson development, lesson consolidation, the extension activities, reflection by the student on the assignment, and then your language usage, grammar, punctuation, and spelling. If we look at the lesson development, for Achieve, we've got the lesson development shows the core content and brings out an understanding of the content, interesting practical activities. For Excellent Achievement, a creative lesson development that clearly shows the core content and brings about an understanding of the content, engaging, well-resourced practical activities. So we definitely want to find ourselves between the 8 to 10 category. If you're finding yourself between the 6 and 7 or even the 4 to 5, go and read each block to see how can you develop your work further to move into the next category. Your lesson consolidation, if we look at Achieved, our conclusion consolidates the lesson well, bringing about an understanding of the content area. Excellent Achievement looks at the conclusion is both creative and consolidates the lesson well, bringing about a deep understanding of the content area. Extension activities. The extension activity is linked to the content area taught. It is an interesting activity that learners would want to complete. For excellent achievement, the extension activity shows insight and is closely linked to the content area taught. It is a thought-provoking activity that learners would want to complete and which extends their knowledge. Your reflection. A good reflection with some key anticipated issues identified, some attempts to overcome issues that are likely to occur. Excellent achievement, a true comprehensive reflection done which identifies anticipated issues. Evidence of effective strategies to overcome anticipated issues have then been presented. So like I mentioned earlier in the explanation, however many challenges you present, please try to include a way in which you can overcome those challenges as well. So that would add to a true comprehensive reflection. If you provide 3 challenges, for example, and you only give us one way in which you could try to overcome that, you're not going to get between 8 and 10 marks. Okay. Language usage, grammar, punctuation, and spelling. This is vital. You really all should be getting between 8 to 10 for this, particularly if you are using Grammarly, like I mentioned. If you download that and you use that, as you're typing in Microsoft Word, it picks up all of your errors. So please try to use some sort of software to help you in terms of working with the last aspect there. And then the final point here, your criteria is looking at referencing in text as well as your final reference list at the end of your document. Between 8 to 10 here, all references are included. So however many in-text references you have, all of those references need to be in your final reference list at the end. So we've got accurate and consistent in-text referencing as well as the final reference list. And again, this is between 8 to 10 marks. Your total for this is 100 marks. If you have any further questions on this assignment, please feel free to contact your campus lecturer for further details.